Really, really excited to welcome Camilla, who is a bit of a ninja when it comes to everything Facebook marketing, and has been my personal mentor as well and business coach. So I've been thrilled to work with her over at least the last 2 years in various masterminds and coaching. And so was really thrilled when she agreed to come and talk to all of you guys. And I've also shared all of the questions that you guys asked in the group. So she's got a bit of a heads up as to the types of things you want to talk about. But before we get into all of that, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit more, Camilla, and tell us what you're all about? Yeah, and we'll go from there.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me and yeah, getting me to chat with some of your ladies. So my name is Kamila Gornia. I am a business coach and marketing strategist. My company is called Heart Behind Hustle. And I also have a boutique advertising agency where we do Facebook ads and lead generation on LinkedIn for some of our clients. But a big piece that we focus on is helping impact-driven entrepreneurs, mostly coaches, healers, service entrepreneurs, and really scaling their impact and growing their income. So a big thing that a lot of our clients come to us with is like, how do I get into six figures? How do I scale from one-to-one into group programs? And also, how do I get more visible and really get seen as an authority in my space? So being able to own your brilliance and getting clear on what your movement message is and how you're going to be showing up so that your marketing is aligned with you, aligned with your personality, and it's actually easy to stay consistent with it. So that's a little bit about me.
Yay. So tell us just a little bit of background, Camilla. How did you get into all of this work, or what makes you you?
Totally. Yeah. It's so interesting. I've been doing online marketing since I've been 12 years old. So I've been doing it in different forms. I actually started my first website when I was 12, and I had a virtual team for about a year or two. I don't remember how long it was when I actually ran that site. It was a niche, very niche site. As you do when you're 12. Yeah. We were actually one of the top sites in Poland because I'm from Poland originally. And it was one of the top niche sites in Poland for that particular topic. We had tons of downloads. We had like 40,000 views on that site within 4 months. This is before social media. We obviously didn't do any advertising for it because I didn't have credit cards as a 12-year-old. So it was all organic and referral based, and a lot of the marketing pieces and branding is what I learned from that very first experience of connection and really being able to leverage what's available to me and getting creative with my marketing. From there, I started a photography business when I was 18, 19, had that for about 6 years. A lot of my clients for that came from social media and Facebook, and like a couple of other photography based sites. I also had a health blog for about 3.5 years, built that up to be about 100,000 viewers per month, which is pretty amazing, and making a nice little consistent income on the side for that, anywhere from not a huge amount, anywhere from like $2,000 to $4,000 a month from that. Ended up selling it in 2015, and then at the same time I was working in different marketing agencies, advertising agencies, started to go into coaching and helping entrepreneurs in with their marketing and a lot of those pieces on showing up, visibility, marketing strategy. It started with mostly marketing and then started building into more offer creation and business models and really helping people scale into that next level in their business, whatever that might look like. So now it's a little bit more broad, and everything that we talk about, like I said, is more heart-fueled, impact-driven marketing and business from there. So it was definitely an evolution, I'll say, and tried a lot of different things, a lot of things that didn't work and a lot of things that did work. And it was definitely a lot of fun. And I think that there's many more evolutions that we're going to see in the future as we do with every business. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background.
So impressive. And I think it's really important to recognize that, you know, there are lots of detours along the way, that everyone's journey is going to look different. There is so much test and learn. So I think it's easy for people to look at someone like you now, Camilla, and think, oh, well, it's been easy for you, or, you know, it's all just happened. You know, and having had the opportunity to get to know you a lot over the last 2 years, you know, just like all of us, there's been those ups and downs. And I think it's really great to recognize and acknowledge that, you know, not everything we do and everything we try, especially in Facebook and social media, is going to work first time. or even second or third or fourth time.
Right.
And it is just about recognizing that there are ways to make things work, that we can leverage the platform in really smart ways, but there's no immediate guarantees. So we have to kind of be open to exploring how the platform can work for us. You know, it's all going to come down to lots of different factors, which I'm sure you're going to go into in more detail, but just recognizing that we kind of have to just jump on the ride a little bit as we navigate through and see what works for us and our business and our audience. I think that's really key.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, how would you like to run this best? Is there something?
Perfect. I will just get right into it. Guys, I have no slides, but I might screen share at some point. So I'm just gonna talk and go with it. And then if you guys have questions at any point, just pop them in the chat. And when it makes sense, I'll address them. But I'm just gonna kind of treat you as if I'm talking to a client. Is that cool?
Yep.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. Cool. So can I just get an idea of like what stage are you guys in? Like what are you guys working on right now? Like have you worked with clients? Like can you just pop in the chat and let me know kind of where you're at right now so I can cater this? And how many of you guys are you already using and leveraging Facebook to get clients or to you know, get your visibility out there? And if you have been running ads, because we're going to talk a little bit about that organic piece, and then we're going to talk a bit about the ads piece. I'm going to share with Holly as well a training that I did on Facebook ads, like a one-on-one type of training. So I'm not going to get too deep into the ad stuff, but I'll basically share with you just like how to understand the whole Facebook platform in a way to make it effective for you, because I think a lot of times people think that it needs to look a certain way, and then they're wasting time on things that they don't really need to be wasting time on. So I'm going to do my best to just like cut the crap basically and just get you right into what needs to happen and things you need to know. All right, so let me take a look at this. I haven't yet started any marketing to get clients. I'm a complete beginner. Awesome. I have a Facebook page, but not marketing. I haven't started with ads. Perfect. Awesome. Anyone else want to share? Two other ladies. Perfect. I own a VA business. Don't have any online presence in my business. Do post content on Facebook for clients and also run ad for one client. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Now the other question is, are you guys pretty clear on like your positioning and like what your unique advantages or like your unique differences? So I know if I need to kind of go over that a little bit or not. Can you just let me know yes or no, or like some context on that, how you feel about that positioning?
So we have just been doing a lot around ideal clients and messaging.
Okay.
So who we're targeting and how we serve them.
Perfect. So we got some newbies here, which is great. So this is going to be all very helpful, everything that I share with you guys. So let me start by talking about some of the things that I see a lot of people doing wrong when it comes to Facebook that are actually not going to serve you at all because they're probably a waste of time. Cool. So the biggest thing that I see typically when somebody is newer is they go and create a Facebook profile, Facebook page, maybe they create an Instagram, whatever, they create these social media platforms. And yes, I do recommend that you do that so that you can have this place to post stuff. But then they start posting, and then they are posting, and then nothing happens. Why does that happen? Right? So there's two ways to look at marketing and visibility in general. And not every single piece of visibility that you're going to put out there is going to result in clients if you have no audience right now. So there's always two types of, I wish I had like a whiteboard, but I don't. There's two types of campaigns that you can do, or two types of activities that you can do when it comes to any kind of social media or content creation. You can either focus on nurture activities, or you can focus on growth activities. Okay, so most people will actually end up focusing on the nurture activities before they're ready for the nurture activities. Now, let me explain what a nurture activity is. A nurture activity is something where you are posting where your audience is already hanging out, right? So for example, your own audience. So this is posting on your Instagram account. This is posting on your Facebook business page. This is posting inside of a Facebook group if you have a Facebook group, This is posting inside of your, on your Facebook profile. A lot of these kind of places where you're posting to an audience that you have already built. Another example is like sending emails to your email list, or, you know, things like, or posting on, doing podcasts, things like that. These are all nurturing an audience that you have already built. You're consistently providing new content to people that are already there. Now, the problem is, if you don't already have people in those communities, in this audience, then you're spending a lot of time posting to nobody, right? And that's what most people will end up doing. They're like, but I'm posting on Instagram, but I'm posting on my Facebook business page. Why don't I see engagement? Why don't I see clients yet? Well, because you haven't built that audience. You haven't built that audience yet, so no one's seeing it. Makes sense. This is really, really essential for you to understand that this difference. Now, on the flip side, we have the growth activities. The growth activities are the activities that you do where you are getting in front of new audiences, and the focus is to grow your audience, so then you can move them into the nurture activities, and you can do the nurture activities and they're excited about you, right? So what would you do in the growth activities? You make sure that you're asking yourself, where is my ideal client currently hanging out? If they're not hanging out on my Instagram or my Facebook profile right now, because they're not there yet, where are they? So for most people, they can do Facebook ads. That's a great way that's a great growth activity, because you can target people based on specifications and get your content in front of those people. And not everybody's willing and ready to invest in Facebook ads. So we'll talk about other options too. Another option is to run or is to post in other people's Facebook groups. So how can you join and find Facebook groups where your ideal clients are already hanging out? So this is an amazing strategy that, like, people say like it's not as effective. It's still effective if you're not an a-hole when it comes to doing the work. Like, if you're just posting and just like, you know, blah, I'm just gonna like word vomit and just give you all the tips and the advice without being asked for it, like, no one's gonna care about you, right? But if you come into it more valuable, they will actually want to listen. We'll talk about that in a moment. So posting in Facebook groups.
Build on one, such an important point, Camilla. If I could just add one thing, because I see it time and time and time again in the groups that I'm in and also my own groups, that people don't just start with the fundamentals of introducing who they are. Like, you wouldn't go to a networking event or anything in person and just go, I got this amazing new offer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, you just wouldn't. And you just need to think about everything you're doing online is about building a relationship first and foremost. And I cannot stress it enough, because people then wonder, oh, you know, I'm giving something for free and no one cares. Well, no one cares because no one knows who you are.
No one cares about that thing. They haven't made that connection yet.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go on anymore.
No, we'll talk a little bit more about that today too. That's so important. Another thing that you can do, and I'll just give you a couple non-Facebook things in case you're like, what else can I do on the growth side? Just anywhere where you can reach a newer audience of people. So being interviewed in like a group like this, like none of you guys are in my community. I don't think, maybe you are, I don't know. But like, you guys are probably new. You guys are new to me. So it's a new audience, right? So being like, showing up in other people's groups or memberships and training in there, that's a great opportunity. Guest posting, being on other people's podcasts, being interviewed in other people's podcasts, and things like that. So that's basically the question, is like, is this a new audience to me? Yes or no? Yes, great, this is a growth activity. No, okay, this is probably a nurture activity that I'm doing. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, what do we do then in order to reach new people? Now, a big piece that needs to happen for you if you're looking to reach a broader audience is to ensure that the content that you share on Facebook or any platform is shareable. So what that means is that you need to make sure that everything that you create, especially if it's extremely valuable content, which of course you're all going to be creating, it needs to have the ability for people to tell their friends that it exists, right? Because why spend all of your hard energy, like hard time, on creating all these amazing things if no one's able to tell their friends or tag their friends or whatever in Facebook, right? Because Facebook, that's how we start seeing things in our feed. If I just go through my phone, I'm gonna see I'm going to see a ton of posts that have like thousands of comments and likes and stuff like that, and people are sharing it on their profiles. And the only way that people can do that is if your posts are public, right? So yes, if you're posting on your Facebook business page, they are public, but if no one's seeing it, that's a problem, right? Because there's a little bit less organic reach for business pages. Now it's been increasing actually over the last little while, but if you have like 10 or 100 or 200 likes on your Facebook business page, no one's going to see that anyway. So is it like the best use of your time? I would probably say no. You can automate it if you want to. That's what I do. I'll talk about all of that. But I don't spend a lot of active energy or time on posting on my Facebook business page personally, because it's just not the best use of my time. So that's that. So if you're posting on your Facebook profile, for example, which I recommend you do also, because there is an increase of organic reach when it comes to Facebook profiles, as long as it's public, people can tag their friends, they can share it on their own profile, so that you're making it a little bit more shareable. Okay, so that's like a little thing that you want to do. Now, jumping back into Facebook groups. So as you're posting in other people's Facebook groups, the reason why I mention your Facebook profile, the personal profile, and why it's important is because in order for you to, as you're posting in Facebook groups, which, just as a side note, Facebook has made it available where we can join Facebook groups as a business page, and we are able to do that. I would still probably not focus on doing that very much, because as a group owner, I don't usually accept people that join as a business page, because why would you want to join a Facebook group if not to promote your business if you're joining as a business page? Like, it's inherently promotional. So I don't want that, right? So I typically decline a lot of people who are trying to request to join my group if they're a business page. And then it's just like inherently promotional. So nobody wants like self-promotional people joining their groups, because they're gonna they're gonna be these like leeches that just hop on and they're like, I'm gonna suck you dry and just take all your clients. And like, we don't want that. So that's not good, right? So instead, you want to join these Facebook groups as your personal profile. And then when you do that and you start engaging in these Facebook groups, people are going to notice you. And what are they going to do? They're going to go and check you out. So what I want to do is I want to do a quick little, can I share my screen? Oh, I can. Perfect. All right. So I just want to share here. Let me just pull this up really quickly. Dun, dun, dun. How could I do that? All right, let's see. And I wish I could show, there's a way for me to show you as somebody else, but I don't use this feature enough. Here, let me maybe screen share first so you can even see what I'm looking at. So, by the way, I will do I'll do kind of like a heads up. I don't do as much posting in other people's Facebook groups now, because I am able to do Facebook ads, and that's just what I prefer to do instead. For anybody that isn't willing or ready to do Facebook ads where you pay for that reach, this is like the best next thing, because it's still an investment. It's just an investment in time and energy. And I'm in a place in my business where I just don't feel like doing it anymore. So like, I'll still go in and like answer some questions. I just don't post that much. I mostly just post on my Facebook profile just for nurturing the current audience I have. And I do also grow my audience by, I accept pretty much everybody that looks like my potential ideal client into my friends list, which is why I have almost like 5,000 friends. I just purged a bunch of people from my friends list, and I constantly bring new people into my my friends list. This is a marketing tool for me. My Facebook profile is my marketing tool, and that's how I like to see it. If my friends want to connect with me, if they're annoyed with all my business stuff, that's fine. They don't have to be friends with me. I will post some stuff like personal stuff on here every so often, because it is a personal profile. It's great for personal brands, but if they want to reach me, they can call me or text me. They probably have my number, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do also have a personal Instagram where I post random stuff. So that helps me too. Anyways, so if I'm posting in a Facebook group, then what people are going to see is they're going to like notice me. So actually, let me go into like some Facebook group. And I don't necessarily want to like call random people out, but I'll just do it because whatever, this is a private call, so it's fine, I think. Let's just go into my group. And I'm not huge on Facebook groups, even for my own, like I haven't even changed this cover. Everything is automated for me because that's just not what I spend a lot of time on. But oh, let's see, like this dude, Donald Scott, whatever. That's very okay, great. I'm glad he found that helpful. Donald Scott, right? So it's his personal account that he like commented on, and it's actually a quite valuable comment. So I actually read it and I'm like, okay, well, this is really great. Like he actually engaged with my content. It wasn't just a like these folks did. He actually stood out to me because he put some thought into this comment, which is a tip that I have for you. Like if you're going to be commenting on stuff, which I recommend that you do, put some thought into it. Don't just say great post, like great, that's going to be like, I'm going to look over that. Give a little bit more thought into it. Give some value to the person that's posting with that. Now, if I went to his profile, what do I see here? Well, it's a picture, great. If I look through, I don't really see anything when it comes to his business, right? At all. Which is like, maybe he does something incredible and exactly what I'm looking to hire, but because there's nothing on his profile, am I gonna reach out to him? Am I gonna send a request? Like, no, I'm not, right? Now let's see, let's go to somebody else. Ideally somebody that I'm not friends with on here. Let's go on this lady. She went to my event. So let's see. So this is a little bit better. You know, she has this image revolutionizing women worth. Okay, so that tells me a little bit about what she does, a little bit like her message. Positivity, queen, intuitive, lover of life, works at, this is a really essential thing. Where does she work? Oh, okay, it's her name, life coaching, great. So she's probably a life coach. Oh, wait, I work with life coaches. Maybe I want to be connected with her, right? And I would scroll through, is there anything else that informs me what this person does? Some content that I would see here. So this is why posting on your profile can be really effective too, like actually sharing nurture content. Because as you're posting in Facebook groups and during these growth activities, these people are inevitably going to look at your profile. And if you're sharing really great content, they're going to want to be your friend. They're going to want to follow you because they're going to want to stay updated with all the things that you're sharing and like all this amazing value you're sharing, right? So she's a relationship coach or like a sexual coach or something like that. Yeah. So like interesting stuff. And if it's something I'm interested in, I would probably join and want to request to be her friend. Okay. It's the same here. I have a picture, a cover photo that shows me speaking at my recent event. So this shows that, hey, I'm a business owner. Like you can see a little bit of things here. It creates that credibility, that authority. You'll notice I did say that it's a personal account. So like I say that because randomly I'll post the things that don't have to do with my business, which is what you want because it is a personal account, right? So you don't want it to be a super 100% promotional thing like buy this, because that's annoying. People are going to unlike you or unfollow you or unfriend you if you're doing that constantly. They're interested in who you are as a person. And sometimes you're going to say things that have to do with your philosophy on your industry or an offer that you have or something else. But you'll notice that I actually very rarely, if ever, post links on my personal profile. Most of this content that I share here is like just amazing, or well, it's just content. It's just like things that I would write, or maybe I'll do a live stream or something. And I'm not necessarily pitching. I might pitch, but the focus is to nurture these people and to show these people that like I have something to say and you might want to be friends with me because I'm going to educate you or give you value or whatever that is. Is this making sense? Nod your heads. Perfect. So then I have a little thing here that says, I help coaches and experts grow their income and impact with scalable offers, lead gen, and paid ads. Tells people a little bit about what I do, right? So, okay, if I'm interested in these things, I might want to follow her. Two other things here. My work, right? So I'm a CEO founder of Heart Behind Hustle, and another thing, visit my business page at Kamila Gornia, because I was a personal brand for many years, and now for about over a year, we're Heart Behind Hustle. So if they want to learn more, they're like, great, this is an entrepreneur. This is a person that can help me. They can actually go through, and right now I just had my birthday, so a lot of these messages are like birthday related. If you weren't already friends with me, I don't think you would see them because they are just for friends. But like if they went and saw, okay, now I can actually check her out a little bit more, they're going to my business page and they can find out a little bit more information about me, like go to my website and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you scroll down here, you'll notice that there's a picture here. I have one image here that is a branded image for wherever I want people to go. So I recommend having just one image here because it blows it up and it makes it big. If you have, I think you're gonna have 4 or whatever. I don't really remember what the number is. You can have multiple images here, but when you have multiple images, like I think she does, oh, it's 6. It's like a bunch of cool images. It kind of looks like an Instagram type of thing, but it doesn't really communicate that one main message that you want people to take away. So if you have a freebie, which I'm sure you'll work on, or you want to get people into your Facebook group, or you just want to communicate with people like, hey, here's what I do. And this could be just like, I'm a life coach, or I'm a whatever. You can use this one image. It's going to be blown up to communicate whatever that might be. So for me, it's to join our Facebook group. Here's what it is: exclusive community for impact-driven coaches and experts, hashtags, website. Then if I scroll down, I have a couple links here. So this is a link to my Facebook group. These are 2 links to my 2 websites that I have, and then my Facebook business page. Okay, so you want to include all of these elements here. And this is really easy to edit if you just go to the About section. And you can edit all this stuff here. So edit your work. You want to make sure that you're connected with your business so this is what you connected with your business page basically. So make sure that it's set to public so everybody gets to see it regardless of whether they're friends or with you or not. Another one's set to public. These other ones are friends only. I don't really care if they know I've worked at these other companies. Doesn't really matter about these things. And let's go back to the overview. These links, edit basic contact and info. You can edit these websites. These are where you put the websites. Okay. You can put the social links as well if you want to. You don't really have to worry about all these other things in here. And then when it comes to sharing content, like I mentioned, I don't usually post. What's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? What did they do? Oh my God, I don't know how to fix this now. Let's go back. Okay. So let's see if I can find a post. So, you know, I'll ask something about like, hey, I'm looking to hire this person. And because most of my friends on Facebook are either clients or prospective clients or colleagues, some of them are friends, I'm able to ask questions like this that are relevant to like entrepreneurship or whatever that might be. So, you know, this wasn't a strategy. I actually was and am looking to hire a video editor, but at the same time, like a lot of people are engaging and a lot of people are getting to see me in their feed and they're just a part of this experience. People love to share recommendations, and there's like even somebody that shared it somewhere, 43 comments, a bunch of likes, right? Like this is just a post that shares that I'm okay with asking because I know this is where those people might be that might have these connections. Here's another post that's just like, doesn't really say very much, but it's just like, I updated my cover photo and I shared a couple things. Like being able to say what you do loud and proud is going to make people take you seriously. Like people are going to take you seriously when you take yourself seriously, and you take yourself seriously by talking about what you do in a public forum, right? In this kind of way. Might not be as easy to do in the very beginning if you haven't been used to doing it. But it's totally, here's another example, like from another event that I did 6 months ago. It was so great to host this event with all these ladies, and there is a link here, but it's still an image. It's not like a link with a thumbnail, it's just an image. People can click on the link to learn more about the program, and that's that. Random thing. I also went to Vegas, so there's that. And just like I just wanted to share something about myself that gets people to connect with me on a human level. So I also include things like this. I wouldn't include something like this in my business profile or my business page because it's a little bit too personal. but it supports me because it helps my clients to see like how I like to think and that kind of stuff. So I get to share whatever the heck I want on my profile, which is great. And people really like it. People had a bunch of engagement on it and stuff like that. Another type of content, like, oh, I just did a great group call and it was so awesome. And it's another type of content you can share on your profile or your business page or anywhere within the nurture activities that just shares like, here's what I do. And it's an indirect way of saying, hey, I work with clients. Hey, I do have this program. And I don't share any links. It's more like curiosity driven. So a bunch of people liked it too. So this is just another way for you to like use your Facebook profile to create more of that authority and get people to engage and get people to see that you're not just like a promotional sleazeball, but you're actually a real human being that is passionate about what she does and wants to share it with people and wants to make an impact with the work that she's doing, and also is fun or whatever the other personality traits that you have, and you're not afraid of showing it. Right? So the sooner you can start seeing this platform as just your ability and opportunity to connect with the other people on many different levels, the faster you will be able to get clients from it too. Because once you start sharing in this consistent way, people are gonna be interested and they're gonna say, well, great, you've been talking about, you know, blankety blank for a little while, and I'm curious about how that works. Maybe you share about a client that you had that had a great experience with you and had an amazing result, and you talk about it. They should talk about it on your profile, and people are gonna be like, great, so tell me a little bit about what that looks like, or something else. And you can also specifically ask for people to send you a message or, you know, comment below if they're interested in learning more. You can ask these types of questions too, or, you know, just to get them to engage specifically as well. So that's that. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the types of content you can share when it comes to Facebook groups specifically, because like I said, yes, you need to have that Facebook profile. You need to make sure it's set up so that once you're sharing in these groups, if they're going to your profile, it is set up and they can see you and they're like, oh, great, this is somebody that can help me potentially. You know, that is like your walking around business card, if you will, when you're sharing in these places. So what do you actually share in these Facebook groups? So the first question, or the first thing, you don't need to create your own Facebook group if you're not ready for it. I don't think it's necessary until you're like, great, I'm ready for that next step. Don't even worry about it. Don't even like let that be a question. Just focus on being in other people's groups, because again, the goal for you is to get in front of new audiences that you don't yet have. So find a couple of groups that are seeming to have the right people for you. I like to focus on like 3 groups to start out with versus 10 or 15 or 30, because that's going to be really difficult for you to actually make your name known in all these groups. Instead, just go like pretty specific into, I would say 3, maybe 5 if you have more time. But I would say 3 is a pretty good number. What you want to look for is, number 1, is this a group that has my ideal clients, right? So if you're working, like I would work with coaches, so I would join groups for coaches because that's where those coaches are probably hanging out. If like one of my clients is an adoption consultant, so would she go into an adoption consultant Facebook group? No, probably not. She would go into a group for people looking to adopt a baby, right? Because that's where her ideal clients are hanging out. If you're a dog trainer, you wouldn't go and look for a dog trainer group. You would go for, you would look for groups of the dog breeds of like owners, or maybe a local, if you're a local business, you would look for like, you know, San Diego German Shepherd owners or something like that. And maybe go in there. You guys, I have a great gift of coming up with awesome examples I know nothing about. This is awesome. Everything. I do this every single time. It's so much fun. So that's an example, right? Just to give you an idea from that side. Once you join, yes, I love that Holly said, you should probably introduce yourself, because that's what you would want to do. Facebook groups have made it really great for us hosts to see if you post something in a group, is this your first post? And if it's your first post and it's a promotional post, the person's going to see it and they're going to be like, no. And are you already engaging with other people's content, right? Because the best way to make a real impact and make a connection, not just with other people that are in the group, but also be on good terms with the host of the group, is to be a great member of the group. That means the first thing you want to do is you want to read through any guidelines that are already posted in the group. So if I go into, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm just going to take out my earbuds because they are dying.
Disconnect. Great. Can you guys still hear me good? Yep. I've been on interviews like literally all day, so my earbuds are like, we're done now. All right. So the very first thing you want to do, let's go into Chrome again. So as I'm looking into groups, and I'll just go into some groups here, and let's just go into some random group. Let's just go into mine because I don't know. I'd just rather do that. All right, anyway, so the first thing is there's an announcements section, right? So if you're joining this group as an example, you would probably want to actually read this announcement. It says, welcome, read this first. Oh, you probably would want to read it first, right? Because you want to be a great member of this group. So you would go through this, and usually the first post that you see will have a couple of things for you to know in terms of guidelines, how to behave, what is okay for you to post, what is not okay for you to post. So, you know, I basically have a couple quick rules and guidelines. And what you want to look for is a couple things. Is the person saying, introduce yourself? If they're saying, introduce yourself, make a new post introducing yourself, right? Or even if you're just posting on here, like under a thread, just do it. Because when I look at somebody, if I click on like this person, oh, well, that didn't work. If I look on like this guy before, there's a little thing that shows up for me because I'm a host of this group that I get to see their recent activity in the group, right? So this is the first post that he's ever made on this group. I get to see if they're what other members they're a part of, like groups that I'm a part of, when they joined, a lot of information like that. So if the first thing that you do is just like, here's my offer, but yet the group host says, hey, introduce yourself first. Hey, comment on other people's stuff first. And then you don't do it, they're gonna be like, okay, well, they're self-serving. I don't want this person in my group. They're not gonna really, and then other people will also see you as like kind of not a very great person because you're just kind of self-serving. And for anybody really, like, the more you can give, the more you can ask yourself, how can I impact and give value to this person, the better off you're gonna be. And it's not gonna feel complicated. It doesn't have to feel complex. It's literally what you would do in a real human to human conversation, right? You're not gonna go into a networking event, like just like Holly said, and be like, hey guys, I have this awesome offer, it's a freebie, come and download it, everybody. And they're like, who is this person? They just walked in, sat there in a corner for a little while, watched us talking, and then they jumped in with an offer. It's like, what are you talking about, right? But instead, if you walked into this event, you're like, hey guys, I'm Camila. Oh, cool. What do you do? Oh, great. And then you talk with them a little bit. They're like, oh, what are you looking for? And they're like, oh, I'm struggling with this. Be like, oh, well, I can help you with this. And, you know, maybe you need to connect with this person. It's like a real conversation. And eventually they're like, okay, great. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to share. And you're like, actually, yeah, I have this thing. And then they actually listen, because you're not a weirdo that just comes out of nowhere screaming like, oh my God, but you have to buy this. They're like, get this person out of here. This person is nuts. We don't want her here, right? So we don't want that. So anytime you can take anything that you do online into a real in-person situation, would that be okay? If the answer is yes, you're probably pretty good. And it's actually where online marketing is going, is becoming even more human to human connections, even more relationship driven. And it's great for all the people that aren't super techie and aren't trying to overcomplicate it, which is what a lot of people try to do. They're like, but I need to do this crazy tactic and this crazy activity and this like fancy thing. It's like, no, not really. You don't. You just need to connect with people and help them and give them value. So introduce yourself first. Tell them whatever. If they have prompts, answer the prompts. If they don't prompts, you can just share whatever you want. And you just want it to be helpful. Like, hey, if you have any questions on this, I'm happy to help. I live here. And just make it friendly. Just make it like, I'm just here to be a part of this community, because like it can be a really great experience for you anyways to be in communities like this. Even if you don't necessarily get clients from it immediately, you might make some great connections, and you just want to step into this place of generosity and giving and providing value to people versus taking. So anytime you step into like, how do I take, how do I get, that energy balance isn't going to be very supportive for you in feeling great when it comes to your marketing. And people are going to feel it too. They're going to be like, I don't think this person really cares about me. They're just looking for my money. And that's never going to work out very well. So once that's done, the next thing that you want to do is you want to start actually engaging with people. Go and like some people's posts. That's the first bare minimum thing you can do. Now, the thing with liking people's posts is they're probably not going to notice you, because if they get more than like 2 likes, it's just going to be like X amount of people like this post. They're probably not going to go through and see all the people that have done it. But if that's your first like comfy way of getting in, you can start doing that. The second step is to start commenting on some of these posts. So I shared with you that example of that Donald person that commented on my post, and he actually left a really good example of what a valuable piece of comment could look like. Like he shared some, like, this was really helpful, and this piece, this little quote was really great, and whatever. Cool. Like I actually felt heard and listened to and seen, and that's how you want people to feel. Like that's how you want people to see and see you as, right? So way better for you to leave 3 comments per day that are actually like meaty comments where you actually share some value, versus leaving 20 comments where you're just like, cool, good for you, like congratulations, like awesome. You're gonna be just like looked over. No one's gonna really pay attention to you. So I'd rather have you spend less time, but more quality time on leaving very thoughtful comments, okay? So a way that I like to look at this, if you have 3 Facebook groups that you're visiting every single day, you can have it set up where every morning you go into those groups, you find 3 posts or 3 threads that you can comment on and leave 3 comments in each of these groups in the morning. And if you wanna give yourself like an extra boost, you can do it in the evening too. If you want to do extra even more, you can do it in the afternoon as well. And this might be different depending on how big and how engaged a group is. So some groups aren't very engaged, so you might like have trouble finding them, and that's okay. Just try to find groups that actually have like more than 1,000 members typically, or if it's less than 1,000, at least it's engaged and things like that. That's going to be the biggest benefit to you in connecting with the right people, basically. Now, once you've started commenting, you want to make this a practice, just commenting. You can eventually start sharing some content too. You can start posting new threads. Great way to get started with this is not necessarily starting off with, here, I'm just going to spit some information for you and hopefully it's relevant. A lot of people do that, and I actually don't find that that's the best way to do things, because yeah, it's just like, again, it's just kind of like, I'm just going to share content, like here's a blog post and it's fine. But I find that the best way to start doing this is to ask for feedback, is to ask for advice, is to ask for something that is going to help you. And that's the most engaged way. Like the group host is going to be like, oh my gosh, yay, this person is engaging. They're actually asking for help. They're using this as a community. Imagine that. So what can you ask in relation to whatever it is, right? Maybe you're like, hey guys, I'm really wondering which of these 3 topics is the most interesting to you. Let me know below. And you can maybe list a couple of things that you might want to talk about. Maybe you're creating an ebook and you're like, which of these 3 covers is going to be the best one? I don't know, right? Give me some feedback. What do you think? maybe you're looking to hire somebody. You're like, hey, what's your recommendation for X, Y, and Z? Or something else that's kind of related to this topic, right? Something that's kind of being friendly and being like a part of a membership or a community, right? So you want to start doing that. Then the second step of that is you can start sharing some feedback and sharing some advice and sharing some tips. So this is where you get into like the whole content creation stuff that people typically talk about. You can definitely start sharing some things. I recommend doing a post with a picture. And then just making it as engaging as possible. I usually recommend making it so that it starts off with like some kind of an attention grabbing headline, gets into a little bit of context or introduction into the thing, why you need to read this, why it's going to be helpful for you, gets into the meat of the thing, and then leave a comment below. I usually don't recommend asking for a call to, like doing a call to action that's anything more than like leave a comment below, what's your feedback, in other people's groups, because I don't know, it's kind of like, again, it becomes a little bit more self-promotional. So, you know, if you're like, you know, why I stopped feeding my cat for a week, I don't know, what the heck, it's the weirdest example. Why would you want to do that? That's the worst example. Camila, what the hell is wrong with you? All right, let's not feed our cat for a week. That's very sad, and we don't want that. Why I stopped reading. So like, let's say that you're in like a personal development group, right? And maybe you're like a life coach and you did something radical. You decided to stop reading personal development books, right? So instead of saying, starting the post with like the punchline with like the main meat of the thing, like for example, the reason why you stopped reading personal development books is because you need to start tuning into your own intuition. Let's say that's why. So instead of saying, I stopped reading personal development books because I needed to tune into my intuition in the beginning, and then it's a post, like no one's going to read the post because you already gave away the meat of it, right? That's why would someone read it? Or we're saying something like, personal development books cut you off from your intuition. That's, again, too telling. People will know exactly what you're going to say in this post, which is good, but also like not quite impactful because they're not going to read the post. So instead, you could say something like, I'm a life coach and I stopped reading personal development books. Okay, that's weird. Why would you do that, right? And they're gonna read the post. Or something like why reading self-help books is making you miserable or making you feel whatever, something like that. So it's kind of like intriguing. It's creating a lot of that curiosity, and it makes me wanna read to find out like, well, what the heck is this person talking about? So they read the post, you share your perspective, you share your philosophy on this, and then you can ask a question like, have you ever done this? And guys, I read personal development books. I'm not saying so. This is just an example, obviously. But then you can start doing that. And then you can mention a couple things about what you do in that post. You could say like, even though I'm a life coach and I help people with this, I've decided to do this. Right? Even though I work with clients, I decided to do this. So you're instilling these different elements of like, I'm a business owner, I work with clients, but you're not outwardly being like, hey, everybody, like, do you want to hire me? I do this work. You're being a little bit more smooth with it, as if you're bringing it into conversation. And then if someone's going to be like, this is a really interesting lady, like, I'm curious what else she's going to talk about. They are going to go over to your profile. They're going to check you out, potentially send you a friend request. Another thing to know is start sending people friend requests if they seem like a perfect ideal client for you. So you're going to be in these groups. They're not going to feel weirded out that you're doing that if they're already posting in these groups. If they're commenting on your post that you've made and they seem like an ideal client, go and send them a friend request. And maybe even go and message them too. Have a conversation, start a conversation. Hey, you commented on my post and you said this, like, I'm curious, like, what resonated for you about this post? Or just go deeper into that. Start conversations. Sometimes these conversations are going to turn into discovery calls. Sometimes they're going to turn into coffee dates. Sometimes it's going to turn into nothing. But you basically want to start utilizing these different places where your people are already hanging out, moving them from being a stranger into an engaged person that's like, oh, I've seen your name before. I've seen you kind of post and show up in these different places. You're posting some really interesting stuff. And then moving them into an actual conversation so that they might potentially become a client or might refer someone that could be a good client for you. So this is the organic strategy in a nutshell, basically, for Facebook. So hopefully this is helpful. Now, let me just quickly address Facebook ads. And like I said, I am going to be giving Holly training that I did a little while ago about like Facebook ads, the strategy for Facebook ads and things like that. I prefer to use Facebook ads. Facebook ads are an amplifier. So they're not a fix everything kind of thing. A lot of people are like, great, my strategy is to do Facebook ads. But that's not the strategy, that's the amplifier. That's the traffic source. So what is the actual strategy, right? If you don't have the strategy, if you don't know why you're running Facebook ads, if you don't know where you're sending this traffic to, then it's pointless for you to spend money on ads because they're not gonna be effective. Just boosting posts for the sake of boosting posts or just, doing whatever, like that's not a very good use of your time if you don't have the bigger overarching strategy. I'd rather have you spend energy and time posting in Facebook groups and directly connecting with each of these people that are potentially ideal clients. That's going to be more effective for you than boosting even for $5, $20 some random post that's going to be in front of, even if they're ideal clients according to the targeting, if you don't have the elements involved to get them to engage with you and to get them on the phone or whatever that might be, it's going to be a wasted effort, right?
And that goes for any marketing at all.
Exactly. Yes. Always have the strategy, always have the higher level why of what you're doing. But the Facebook ads are an amplifier. So anytime that you're, okay, great. Like I'm doing this Facebook group thing, I'm posting on my profile, I'm really leveraging all these possible organic ways for me to grow. Now it's working pretty well. I think I can start reaching new audiences. And the only way for me to do that, because I already am using up all of my free time, is to go the paid route. That's when you can start looking into the paid traffic route to make your life a little bit easier. Questions?
While everyone's thinking of those questions, I just wanted to make a comment about the personal profile page, because I know that is probably a lot of people probably peed their pants when you said, oh, you should be promoting yourself and getting your business more visible on your personal page. And time again, when I work with pretty much anyone, they haven't even told their friends and family what they're doing, and certainly have not started being visible about it on Facebook. So I think that's probably something that just needs to sink in for everyone, and then find a way to do it that feels natural and authentic. But some of the examples that popped into my mind when you were saying that, Camilla, is things like, I have friends in my Facebook who are really passionate about politics, or really passionate about travel, or really passionate about movements or causes or feminism or all kinds of different things. And I would say it's exactly the same thing, right? It's just a passion, as you said. So you want to talk about it all the time, and you want to share information or education or insight around it, because it's what you're all about. Like, it's a big part of your life, your identity. It's what you stand for, and it becomes your personal brand. So I think if you see it more like that, as one of your core interests and one of the things that makes you you, one of the things that you get up in the morning for, as opposed to feeling icky about, oh, what's everyone going to think when they see that I'm doing this new thing, I think just that mindset shift can be really helpful, because at the end of the day, none of you are in the businesses that you're in for self-serving purposes. Like, these women have amazing businesses and business ideas, and they're all about contributing to others. And I think tune into that, because this is the purpose of it. This is the mission behind it. And when you have that fire in your belly to serve other people through what you want to do and have that bigger impact in that way, then it really takes away all of the potential ickiness and awkwardness about what you're sharing. And it can come from a place of real intention and heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And that's like, it's like so true, because I mean, yeah, like people talk about all kinds of things, and it's just like, it's just what you're passionate about. So a lot of times people don't even know, and they might actually have somebody that could be a great client for you, but they just don't know that you're even doing this thing.
Fruit. And you guys know how much I bang on about this, but who knows who. And if people don't know what you do, they can't talk about you to anyone else.
Right. And it's so funny because, I think a lot of times we're like, well, I don't want to annoy my friends and family, and like, I'm going to start posting about these things. They don't care. Actually, I was just in Vegas for my birthday. And my friends who don't do what I do, they're not ideal clients, they're just friends. They're like, oh my gosh, Camila, like seeing your post is so inspiring for me because it just makes me see that like there's more out there, and like all these, like, it's so inspired to just see you crush it and like whatever. And they're not ever going to buy from me. They're not going to start businesses. That's not what they do, but just seeing a different perspective. And when you're positive and when you're high vibe and you're just like sharing with such energy and passion, it inspires people and it helps them be able to have the confidence to talk about what they're passionate about too. And just in that is just amazing, right? Like I saw another, this guy that was a neighbor, and he's like, Camila, it's so weird, but Facebook constantly notifies me every time you post something. I'm like, that's weird. Why does that? He's like, I don't know why this happens. You're the only person that I get notifications for, but they're always really great. And he's not an ideal client either. But he's just like, he hasn't turned off the notifications. So there's clearly something he's getting from this. And he's not annoyed, you know, he's just kind of like, it's so cool that you share all this stuff and you're like crushing it and you're on fire. And it's, you know, they see it as crushing it by just sharing confidently and having the energy of abundance and radical generosity. And that's considered crushing it. You know, it doesn't have to be a monetary thing, but when people see you as doing well, by having the confidence to share what you want to share, they're going to feel inspired. They're going to tell their friends about you, and it's all going to snowball. So all the little things that you're doing, all the talking and posting and engaging, it's all going to eventually snowball and make it like, holy crap, where is this coming from? One of my clients just completed a launch for her group program, and she made $70,000 from purely organic. It wasn't her first launch though, and it was a lot of building. She was doing exactly what I was telling you guys to do here. She started building her audience and nurturing. She got better and better at content. She started owning herself and owning her brilliance more and more and more. And she got some clients in the meantime, and she was like, you know, kind of like at $3-5K a month. And then we did this launch, and she made $70,000. And it's because it's all built up to that. It's all built up to her audience being receptive and ready to hear that message and willing and excited to sign up for this thing that is a high ticket offer, right? So all of this builds up.
Because I've been sort of sitting here in my head thinking, so organic approaches is really long-term strategies. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, you know, within the space of a few days or even a week of someone joining my group, or me having a conversation online with someone, they've become a client. So equally, it can be very short term. And I would just love your view on that.
Absolutely. So yeah, another client, so I talk about going live, and I don't go live as much as I used to, but I do go live sometimes. But for somebody that never goes live or never does videos, like it's a great thing to start doing that. So one of my clients, we're not working together anymore, but we worked together for a little while, and she was like super terrified of doing video and live streaming. So finally we're like, Cindy, you're going on live. Like you're going to do it. She went live, and she didn't have a very big audience. She already had some clients because she was doing more service work. She's an OBM or a VA at the time. And she had some ideal clients on her Facebook profile. She was building that audience up a little bit. And then she's like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go live. I'm just going to say, screw it. I'm just going to do it. She got a client from that first live stream. It was like, she talked about passionate work that she's excited about. The person was engaging with her. They messaged her and they're like, tell me what you do. I just love your vibe. What do you help people with? Like, I need you in my life. And then she signed up for like a $3,500 package, which is awesome. Right. So very first live stream, and she fell in love with live streaming since then. She's like, oh my gosh, it's the best. And now she's like a public speaker, and she does a lot of visibility stuff. But yeah, so that's a great example too. You never know who's going to be watching. Yeah, that one person could be that person that's going to invest heavily with you. So it's not even about numbers.
At different stages of wanting to invest, right? So that's going to be people who are thinking, yeah, I know I want to, maybe a few months down the line. And they're the ones that obviously are going to be really receptive to the nurturing. And there are people who join groups or follow people because they're at the point where I need help right now. And if your message happens to resonate at that moment in time, if you're on the right place, you know, right moment, then that's where everything can literally just be stars aligned. And both has happened for me multiple times over as well. So that's why I think, it's not as simple as just saying this is a long-term strategy that you build. because who knows who's watching ever.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shut up. Let's go over to questions. So just give a little wave and then unmute yourself and ask Camilla what you'd like to know.
I know, I talked a lot. I hope you guys aren't too overwhelmed with all the information. I was just so thorough. No one has questions. Yes.
Really? No one has a question?
Was that helpful, guys?
Sarah. Go, Sarah.
Really helpful. Really helpful. So I think you were really thorough. So it was really nice to hear, I guess, how to start from the base and work up, because I can, you know, have lots of thoughts about content and getting it out there, but actually growing that audience I've always had questions around that. So that was really nice to know, to have steps to do that. I guess my question would be, should this be like my main focus? And there are so many other social media platforms that I feel that Facebook is definitely a way to connect with my audience, that my audience spends a heavy time on Facebook. Should I just be purely focusing on that, or should I also on the side be focusing on other social media platforms at the same time?
I would start with where you know your ideal clients are hanging out, which for you, if it's Facebook, then go on Facebook. I think it's great to have an account on other social media platforms just to grab your username, and then you can have the same username everywhere, you know. But I honestly, for getting clients, I use Facebook. I do have an Instagram account and I post on there. I have two Instagram accounts. I have one for my business and one for my personal. I post on my personal random stuff because since I separated from being a personal brand into a company name, I wanted to be able to talk about random stuff. So I post about random stuff. My business Instagram, I don't post very often on because I haven't really, I don't know, it's like entertaining and fun, but I personally haven't really gotten a whole lot of clients from there personally. And I don't have the space and time to like really immerse myself in the process for doing that. So all my clients come from Facebook ads, referrals, or other campaigns that I do that are like partnered campaigns. And I just go hard on that one. So
good. Excellent. That's good. I don't want to be too overwhelmed anyway with everything else.
You don't need to be. Yeah, no need to be.
Do one thing well.
Before you move on to the next one. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a lot of time. Like if you have nothing to do all day, then like go for it. And you're just like, I just want to fill my time. Great. And
everyone in this group is doing this around full-time 9 to 5 on top. Yeah. And some are studying as well as that. So time is of the essence. So it's really good to think about where we can focus.
Definitely. No, that was great. Thank you.
Leanne, I know you've got no voice, but if you want to message a question in the chat box, please do. Has this been useful given your line of work? I've just unmuted you.
Yeah, no, it was really useful. Thank you. And actually the bit about connecting your personal profile, I'd always just thought those were best kept separate, but it makes so much sense when you say it. So yeah, it's definitely been very helpful. Thank you.
Do you have any questions, Camilla?
No, because I think my question anyway was about how to grow a page or a group without ads. So you answered that.
Tick, tick,
yeah.
tick.
Perfect. Thank you.
Leanne's just posted a question in the chat box. Okay. Really interesting and useful. No question. Awesome. Carly, I've just unmuted you. How did you find it? And do you have any questions?
Yeah, I found that fantastic. Thank you. I don't really have any questions. I think that was all answered. Like Nair said about joining the personal and business pages together. I haven't done that either. So, but how that was explained really makes sense. So I'm going to make sure I do that. I thought I did have a question earlier, but then I think it may have got answered just with the with the business page. So the business page, just so I understand it, is more for the nurturing. Is that right?
That's what
yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff you can share that's more of a growth activity if you are going to be running ads to it, but the likelihood that people are going to find your content on your business page are slim unless you already have an audience.
Yeah.
So like you can grow your audience on there, obviously, and you can run some ads and stuff like that. But like, I honestly have gotten like, when it comes to Facebook overall, not including Facebook ads, most of my clients come from Facebook profile.
Yeah.
Like it's just what it is, you know? So people will engage and comment sometimes on my business page posts, and sometimes they'll share them, but like, it's just not the same level of engagement. And Facebook has shifted around the way that the business pages look too. That makes it like more complicated to see posts. Like, I don't know, I just want to share it real quick because I find it really annoying. Like if I go to my business page, let's go to some random business page, maybe not mine. Let's go to, I just did a training with this lady, Michelle Lewis. Let's go to her website or page. So like, you know, you see a little section for videos and you see like posts and like photos. You have to scroll so far down to see posts, and then like it's just not like ongoing. It's just not organized well, you know. So it's almost more like a website than anything, I find. Versus your profile, it's literally chronological order, like timeline, the way that we know it, and hopefully they don't change it. So, you know.
Yeah, makes sense. Does that make sense?
And Camilla,
thank you. That was great.
Changed. Thanks, Kelly. That's a great question. Unless this has changed, we still have to have a business page to run ads.
Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that in case anyone's thinking, oh, well, I actually don't really, there's no point in me having a business page right now.
Yeah, you do need a business page for ads for sure.
Yeah.
And it is like a website. So like having one is still good, and posting stuff on there is good if it's automated. Like if you go to my business page, like you'll notice that I do post stuff on there. I don't physically actively post stuff on there. I have a scheduling tool that's just shoots out content, and I don't really have to worry about it. But like anything that's like an active thing that I do, like physically go and comment and post and like write new posts, that's all on my profile or in groups. Yeah.
So see this as your shop front. Like you need it. It's like a hygiene cue.
Yeah.
But it's not where the relationships are necessarily going to be built.
Yeah.
So there's no other questions. Camilla, how can the ladies stay in contact with you if they wanted to find out more about what you do and how you can support?
Yeah, of course. So you guys can go to heartbehindhustle.com. That is our website. And we have a lot of great resources on there about growing your business, making a bigger impact. I actually have, if you go on there, you can get 2 free chapters of my book that I'm writing right now, which is all about heart-fueled enrollment. So it basically combines sales and marketing and like the no BS way and approach to getting sales, regardless of where you are, whether you have a big audience or like no audience at all. Basically the process that we approach when it comes to any kind of enrollment and launches that I help my clients with. So working out on that book right now. So it's you can get 2 free chapters if you sign up for that on the homepage.
Fabulous. And if they wanted support with Facebook ads, what would they do there?
Yeah, so the best way is to contact me. You can go to my other site, KamilaGornia.com. That's our agency site. That site hasn't, we're not like focused on that too much, but it is more of like a behind the scenes kind of boutique agency. So if you're looking for some support with Facebook ads and you're ready for that, we do have a course on it as well. So if you were to learn Facebook ads, you can learn how to do that as you would if you're an ad manager or working with an ad manager. So we get into a lot of like strategic things on what you need to have in place in order to run ads, plus how to actually implement them. But then if you need some support and having somebody actually do the work for you, we can talk about it. So just send me a message or an email and we can talk about what that looks like.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you for all of the incredible insights. It was so nice to connect with you again. And I know everyone's taken a huge amount out of this, and those who missed it will be kicking themselves, but they will definitely be watching the replay.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome.
Thank
And
you.
I really hope this was valuable. So
Definitely. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
you too.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.